On Budget Day, I'm Shivani Gupta. The primary expectations from this budget were on the economic recovery aspect. After 2 years of COVID hit, infrastructure, jobs and support to the most vulnerable. And that's where the real test will be. Will this budget aid the recovery that India has shown already and boost growth? Has it done enough to provide basic support in the times of a pandemic to large masses, youth, middle class, the poor? Those are the buzzwords. And will jobs, the pressing point currently, be created? Well, the opposition is not impressed. From former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram to former Congress Chief Rahul Gandhi, parties like the TMC led by Mamata Banerjee, they have all criticized the budget for having next to nothing. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman took some of these questions post her budget speech. Let's listen into what she said and what the BJP and Congress have to say.
मैंने टैक्स इंक्रीज नहीं किया, वो बात मैं दोहराना चाहती हूँ. लास्ट ईयर भी, इस साल भी एक भी पैसा टैक्स के द्वारा मैंने एडिशनली कमाने के लिए कोई कोशिश नहीं की. पैंडेमिक के वजह से पूरे दुनिया में बहुत उथल पुथल हुआ, जॉब्स में नुकसान हुआ बहुत देशों में, हमारे यहां भी. आई मीन, आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग दैट देयर हैज बीन इम्पैक्ट ऑन जॉब्स, मगर एकदम कुछ नहीं किया वो सही भी नहीं है. जस्ट बिकॉज यू वांट टू पुट समथिंग इन ट्विटर, इट डजंट हेल्प.
आम बजट 2022-23 यह गरीब कल्याण बजट है. यह गरीबों को सशक्त और सक्षम बनाने वाला बजट है. यह महज एक साल के डेवलपमेंट का एजेंडा नहीं है, बल्कि देश के लिए अगले 25 साल की बुनियाद रखने वाला यह ब्लूप्रिंट है.
This is the most capitalist budget speech I have read. This is the most capitalist budget. There's not a word. I mean, I'm shocked. Not a word about the poor, the tax-paying middle class, the agriculturist. Not a word. And they don't care.
So there is, of course, a political aspect to it, but we will, of course, also look at the aspects of the budget that could bring cheer to everybody and to specific classes too. Shehzad Poonawalla, spokesperson of the BJP, Rohan Gupta of the Congress party are joining us on the political fight. Mahesh Gupta, CMD, Kent RO Systems, and also Rajan Bandelkar, president of NAREDCO, are also joining us to provide more of an industry perspective. Gentlemen, I request you to have some patience with me before, so that I can go to my political guest first up. Rohan Gupta, I want to come to you first up. We've heard, of course, from Congress leaders. Rahul Gandhi has called it a zero-sum budget. We've played out what P. Chidambaram has said. I want to ask you, I won't narrate everything that has been announced in the budget. You would be aware of that. But why are you criticizing to the extent to say that there is nothing in this budget when capex is increased, when, capital infrastructure spending is increased by 35%, when there's more given to health schemes, to Swachh Bharat programs, to education, all of that, even if Manrega allocation has come down, all of that goes to social causes.
Basically, first of all, why Rahul is because there is nothing for a common man. We know that for last 3 years, the common man has suffered a lot due to pandemic, and each and every country has given something to the common man in terms of cash credit, in terms of jobs, in terms of benefits, which are tangible, not only packages. What was expected out of this government is after recovery has started to give something in pocket of the common man, rather than giving something in the pocket of common. And we see that the subsidy has been reduced. We have seen that food subsidy or all kinds of subsidies have been reduced. Why? We know that per capita income has been down. We know that the household spending has been down. Only few friends of Mr. Modi, they are flourishing. The common man is going down. 84% of the households, they have lost their income. What was required out of this budget was immediate help to these people. People who have lost job due to corona. People, the SMEs, the base of Indian economy is our SME. Unless and until you provide direct...
But that's what I'm saying. MSMEs have been given support, and for the last 2 years, not just in this budget. And of course, there are schemes that help job creation, that help small businesses. There is something for everyone. Why do you say that there's nothing for anyone?
Because 60 lakh MSMEs have closed their shop, and now after that, if the budget of the Modi government has been good for last 3 years, why 60 lakh MSMEs would have been closed? Because at the end of that, if you see Modi government's work, they will do big announcements and all. But when the reports come out, we are in hunger. We are 101 across the world. 60 lakh MSMEs, they have to close their shop. Where is the blueprint? You are talking about blueprint for next 25 years. Come on, talk about the present. What is happening in last 7 years?
Rohan, can I understand and crystallize this so that I can take this to Shehzad? One, you're saying there's no big announcement. Is that what is the problem? That there's nothing, there's no one thing that is big. And second? Tangible. So what did you want? You expected cash credit, something tangible to come into the accounts of people?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There has to be some tangible. There has to be some tangible package for the MSMEs from where they can recover now onwards. Why services have been closed? I was expecting that.
Okay.
Just give me 2 seconds. Just 2 minutes.
Okay.
I was expecting a revival package from the government where MSMEs who have closed the shop, they revive and they come back to the...
Okay, but the revival package, that's what I'm saying. You cannot look at every budget, especially in a pandemic, just as in isolation. Revival packages have been done. There was, the Atmanirbhar package and more that has been done. There's the PLI scheme, there's the ECLGS scheme. I'm just saying that, to completely brush aside everything might also be looked at as political opposition. Rohan, I'm going to come back to you. Shehzad, please respond to everything. Most people, Shehzad, are saying that this was possibly a time to give something back to the people. Nirmala Sitharaman today says, I didn't raise taxes for 2 years. That just comes across as a little bit, rude, if I may say so. Because this is the period during which people's incomes have gone down. Forget about raising taxes, direct taxes.
Shivani, I heard you and I heard Rohan very patiently without interruption, and I hope I'll be given adequate amount of time to make all the points, because I'm representing the view of the government and the ruling party, or the party that has got the opportunity to serve. Look, this is a budget of Kisan, Kamai, Kam, and it focuses on Vistar, Vikas and Vyavastha. Let me explain to you. Today when we talk about Kisan, these are the people who said MSP leads to higher inflation. Manmohan Singh said this. Today we've committed 2.7 lakh crores in the budgetary estimates for procuring wheat and rice for the MSP. This is what we have done. Today when you talk about the Kisan, we have reduced the taxes on cooperative sector so that there will be an increase in the rural sector, there will be an increase in the farming sector. Today we are talking about the Ken Betwa project, which will provide irrigation to 9 lakh hectares. Today we are talking about expansion of agricultural activities, whether it's using drones or whether it's using the corridor that we are creating along the Ganga for organic farming. This is on the Kisan aspect. We have increased the agricultural budget also. If you see over a period of years, the amount they used to spend in the UPA was about 1 lakh crores. We've taken up to 4 lakh crores. So this cannot be discounted. Now let's come to social sector spending. UPA used to spend about 8 lakh crores if you add health, education and other social services, including the amount spent on food subsidy. Today that amount is 18 lakh crores. During the corona period, when we gave 80 crore people free rations for so many months, we have spent 2.1 lakh crores. How are all these facts being discounted? Today we are talking about giving 80 lakh additional people houses under the PM Awas Yojana. Bringing a house to a person who doesn't have a house is a very big thing for that person. Giving them Nal Se Jal. We have expanded it to 8.7 crore households, and now we intend to take it to another 4 crore households, 3.8 crore households. Is that not taking it? And do you not consider these people to also be part of the so-called middle class, or is the conception of a middle class only a certain amount of elite people that we consider as middle class? As far as the tax relief is concerned, let's be clear, Shivani. In 2014, we did give tax relief. We increased the basic tax slab from 2 to 2.5 lakhs. We increased it for senior citizens from 2.5 to 3 lakhs. We made a lot of deductions in 2015. That relief has been given. We haven't increased taxes, even though the time has been tough. Inflation has been controlled under 6%. Inflation used to be double digit during the UPA. Was that helping the middle classes of that time?
What about the MSMEs?
We have not allowed the prices to rise, and we have ensured that fiscal
control. You've not done enough for the
Now
small
let's come
businesses.
to that. MSMEs. Okay, let's come to MSMEs. Let me tell you that the PLI schemes that we are now taking forward, and we've already done, and the kind of cover that we gave to the MSMEs through the ECGS, they have saved actually 13 lakh MSMEs, and today we have extended it including to the hospitality sector, and the cover has been extended to 5 lakh crores. I'm asking them one question, that please tell me what they are talking about. Unemployment. The September data of CMI says that 85 lakh new jobs have been created. Year on year, there's been a growth even in white collar jobs by 60%. In the 29 non-farming sectors, there has been a growth in jobs. The GST collections has been 1,40,000 crores, even higher than the pre-pandemic period. It has been out of 16 months, I think for 14 months, it has been above 1 lakh crore. These are all signs that the economy is going ahead. 9.2% growth has been projected. As far as jobs are concerned, what has Rajasthan government done? Please ask him only one question. Rajasthan, every second graduate is unemployed. The highest unemployment rate is actually in Rajasthan. As far as the Kisans are concerned, the Kisan in Rajasthan is having to sell their land because no farm loan waiver was given as promised by Rahul Gandhi. In Uttar Pradesh, we have given highest bhuktan of Ganna Kisan. We have given 36,000 crore loan maafi in Uttar Pradesh. Okay. Therefore, no Kisan is being forced to sell off his land.
Can I bring him in? Can I bring him in before I go to our business guest as well?
Himself.
Rohan, the point also is that, when
Can I just have one last question?
Okay, go ahead.
Just one last point. One last point. As far as the Vyavastha is concerned, today we are increasing capital expenditure by 35%. When we increase this capital expenditure, for instance, they created 70,000 kilometers of highways. We have already done 1,40,000 kilometers, and we are adding another 25,000 kilometers. Will these not create jobs? I want to ask him, Mr. Rohan Gupta, what is the kind of job creation they have done in states like Punjab or in states like Rajasthan? Please tell me what is the unemployment rate in Rajasthan. I just ask you this one question.
Okay.
And why are Kisan in Rajasthan being beaten up for demanding fair price for their crops, or when they go for they have to sell their lands because their loans have not been cleared by the state government?
Okay, I'm going to go across to Rohan in just a bit. We're facing some difficulty with this video link, but let me go across to Mahesh Gupta. Mahesh Gupta, apart from the politics of it, doesn't it not seem that overall the government this government does not like to go populist? They've shown that. Even though expectation was that, just ahead of big state elections, there might be something big bang. They like to stay away from big bang. They believe that, incremental support is what is needed, especially during the pandemic. What works for them, they're doing that. They're not really spreading themselves too thin. For example, capital expenditure, the ECLGS scheme, the PLI. These are things that are working as far as business sentiment, industry sentiment is concerned, and ensuring the recovery is good, that we can boost growth. Do you believe on that front the government has done enough?
I absolutely believe the same thing, what you have said. The proof, I thought this is the first budget of the government for a 5 years. They're looking at a long-term solution for the economy. Otherwise, they could have always said the 5 states are going for election, go to the something populistic approach for everybody. But they have defined the strategy. They have defined the strategy for next 25 years in each sector, which makes a difference. And the biggest thing, what we all were expecting, is to generate demand. Yeah. And the demand generation will kick off the whole economy. And demand generation will come from this infrastructure boost which has been provided. From 5.5 lakh crores, the investment is going to be 7.5 crores in capital expenditure. And if we take even states' contribution into this will run to 10 lakh crores.
Yes.
It's a big boost. Nobody thought how these numbers have been worked out, but they've been worked out very well without any further support from the revenue side on the corporates or on the individuals. So it's excellent support which have been provided, and it's not simple delivery of numbers. The path has been defined quite well, whether it's a road infrastructure, whether it is agriculture, it is MSME. So I would say that it's a very thought of budget, and I totally agree with your statement that it is not a populist budget, but it's a budget which is a long-term budget. And I'm very sure that if this budget continues for a period of 2 to 3 years on a similar line, India will see a massive growth and it can touch even 2-digit growth very easily, to my point of view.
Okay. Rajan Bandelkar, I want to come to you, especially with respect to the push that has been talked about including solving long-term issues of the end consumer when it comes to housing and urban planning. Now, we all know that, middle-class housing or low-income housing is a pet project of the Narendra Modi-led government. So there's, of course, 48,000 crore allotted for the Prime Minister Awas Yojana, 80 lakh houses to be given, 60,000 crore for providing tap water, which is also a necessity, etc. There will be a high-level committee for urban planners and economists to be formed for recommendation on urban capacity building, planning, governance, modern building bylaws, and promotion of public transport. There's obviously some push to clean energy, etc. as well. But purely in terms of infrastructure push and housing push, are you happy? Has the government done enough?
If you really ask me, yeah, I would like to congratulate the finance minister as well as the prime minister, because they have the guts and courage to give such a budget when 5 states are going to the polls. Because everybody, political people might say that they were expecting a political budget. Of course, this budget can be named as infra budget. You can see the amount of infra projects, let it be road, let it be railway, let it be airport, let it be ports, because everywhere, I don't think they have left any
aspect,
sector untouched. Most important thing is that they are already sanctioned more than 1,13,000 homes. But still in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, they have once again made provision for 80 lakhs homes and to the tune of almost 48,000 crore rupees. And what you are telling, yeah, in real estate, we have the basic problem of getting approvals, environment clearances, civil aviation clearances, because when we get permissions, that is the happiest day. The way consumer, when he gets his home, he is very happy. Yeah, of course, post-RERA, all the problems, whatever the consumers were facing, they are getting reduced, and the day will come, the problems would be banished.
But sir, can I ask you, if I want to crystallize this and go back to our political guests, and before I do that, I want to ask you, the criticism is there's not enough for those who have suffered because of the pandemic, the most vulnerable. There's nothing for the poor, the common public, the common man and woman, middle class in other terms, and nothing for job creation. What will your assessment be on that?
In job creation, when the investment comes, of course the job creation is going to come. See, job creation is a byproduct of investment. When they are going to do investment, of course the job creations are going to come. When roads are built, ports are built, airports are built, so automatically the job creation is going to happen. They are talking about 80 lakhs homes. So today construction industry is the second largest employer after agriculture, and that too in an unskilled segment. So job creation is bound to be there, and they are already given importance to skilling. Even second most important thing is that was our demand. We were asking the government to increase the slab of ECLGS and continue it. So we are very, very happy. Of course, they has done it for MSME, but majority of the developers are registered under the MSME. They should make one more clarification that the real estate sector also falls under MSME, because majority of the developers post-pandemic, everybody has registered in under MSME and everybody has taken the benefit. And the advantage of ECLGS is that the rate of interest for the funding becomes very less. I will tell you, majority of the developers must have seen the rate of interest coming as low as in single digit. And of course... So
can I go back to our political guest though? We lost Rohan when Shehzad was posing answers to him and also questions to him. And Rohan, the question he's saying is that this is not just about the union budget. States have to do their part. And he was saying, have Congress-ruled states done enough? Both on job creation, on farm distress, in states like, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, the finance minister talked about it. I mean, this is a partnership. You cannot just say there are no jobs and then not talk about the fact that the state governments have to do their part. And credit is being, extension is being extended for them.
See, this has been old tactic by BJP spokesperson and BJP since till the time we have seen that from the time Corona started, the state versus central game is going on. That is nothing new. Come on, we are discussing the central budget. The central budget decides the overall blueprint of the country. What is required here? I was listening to some experts. What is required here is to increase the per capita income, which is going down. Unless and until the consumption is increased, you cannot increase your GDP.
But that's what they're saying. Infrastructure spending is the way to do it. To push growth, demand, and all infra push is the way to do it. How else are you going to do it?
Please allow me uninterrupted. I'll answer all the questions. They have promised 80 lakh homes, right? If you remember, they had promised that by 2022, 4 crore homes will be constructed. Till now, only 2 crore homes have been constructed. And now they are again promising 80 lakh homes. How can people trust on them? It's not about that. It's not about the promises which are given by Modi government in the budget. It's about what is actually delivered on ground. That's what I was saying. That your per capita income is going down. When your per capita consumption is going down, in hunger index you are becoming 101, your 60 lakh MSMEs are getting close, 18 crore people are losing their job. Where is the will by this government?
Okay, where's the will? Where's the intent? Let Shehzad respond to that. Let Shehzad respond to that, please. Okay. Let's go, time-wise.
Let me Shivani, let me give you a specific example. In Uttar Pradesh in the last 5 years, we built more than 33 lakh houses for the poor. In the last 60 years, these people could not put together more than 2 lakh houses. The previous government, before our government in Uttar Pradesh, did about 28,000 houses, and besides that, they must have done a few thousand houses together. We built 33 lakh houses for the poor in Uttar Pradesh. This is what strong intent is meant by when you have a state government and you have a central government, and both have strong will. Today, he's transferring the blame about creating employment in the state onto the center. The center can create an atmosphere in the country. The center can even extend, like you rightly said, Shivani, we've extended 1 lakh crore credit line to the states. Take the money, do infrastructure projects, and we are happy to give you interest-free credit line for that. But if you do not have the will, and why did Rahul Gandhi promise that I will do Kisanon ki Karz Maafi when it was not a state issue? He said it because he wanted... 1 second, sir, I did not interrupt you, Rohanji. I did not interrupt you. You're a senior person. Please listen to me. Rahul Gandhi ने ऐसे करके बोला था ना 10 दिन में कर्ज माफी दूंगा, तो क्यों नहीं दे रहे? वहां पे किसानों को जमीन नीलाम करने की नौबत क्यों आ रही है? Now forget that issue. I'll ask you another issue. Rohan Gupta ji, only tell me this thing, that when you were in power, when you were in the UPA, at that time, what was the spending on health? What was the spending on education? The total spending on all of these sectors. 1 second, sir, please don't interrupt. It doesn't behove your stature. It doesn't behove your stature.
Let him just finish his point, Rohan, then you respond. I'll give you a minute. Yeah, finish, Shehzad, quickly.
Yes,
despite the fact that we are in a corona period, something that has not hit the country for 100 years, despite the fact that we are giving 166 crore vaccine doses, most of them free of cost, that's vaccinating America 5 times over. Despite these challenges, the amount of social sector spending, health, education, other social services, food, etc., has gone up to 80 lakh crores, which
all right, I'll take that to him. Let him respond to that, because that's a fair point, Rohan. 1 second. That's a fair point. Allocation in what matters to the public on the ground. You know, ghar, education, health, all of those schemes have come up over the last few years. Ayushman Bharat being one of the big ones. Tap water being the other one. Swachh Bharat has direct relationship with health of Indians. So all of that has happened. You cannot claim that there is no social agenda here in this budget. And it's in line with the last few budgets.
Let me now reply. Shivani, see, that's what I'm saying. They make announcement, but what is the delivery on ground? If Mr. Shehzad is saying that it is the responsibility of states, who told Mr. Prime Minister to promise 2 crore jobs every year? Who told Mr. Prime Minister to tell that we will construct 4 crore houses across India? When he wanted votes from people, he promised 15 lakhs also. So when you make promises which are practically not possible, and when you have to govern the country, this is what happens. And again, don't speak in between, I never spoke in between, right? Let me complete. Again, I'm coming to my basic point. Okay. What is the outcome? 5 crore people have been pushed below poverty line. Okay. We are 101st in as far as hunger index is concerned. So just the declaration, the jumlas in the budget, it is not the delivery. The delivery needs to be seen in terms of numbers.
Let me just respond.
In terms of poverty, in terms of helping the MSMEs. You are not doing anything.
Okay. Rohan, I have limited time now. Please yield.
Quick example.
Shehzad, only 30 seconds. Only 30 seconds.
Shivani, give me 30 seconds.
No,
30
only 30 seconds, Shehzad, now,
30 seconds.
please.
30 seconds.
So why?
30 seconds to respond. Yeah, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
1 second. I'll respond 30 seconds very quickly. Shivani, 30 seconds. When they were in power, the procurement for dal was 7.28 lakh metric ton at a lower price of dal. We procured in the last 5 years 93.97. That is will and delivery. Now, outcome we procured 13 times more than you. What more outcome can I give you? Okay, I'll give you another example. Shivani, one more example. Shivani, one more example, please. Let's not interrupt and talk over each other. I want to give you a very specific example.
I have to go to my other guest for a final
Shivani,
word.
please, can I?
10 seconds, Shehzad.
I know. So just one quick example. Shivani. Yeah, 10 seconds. Shivani, one quick example. Today we are talking about 44 unicorns and 60,000 startups, 26,000 tech startups. They created 4 unicorns in the last 50 years. We gave 44 unicorns in the last 2 years.
Okay.
I'll give you one more example. 2,000 crore budget for sports. We gave 4,000 crores for sports.
I've run out of time. Mahesh Gupta, I want to give you the final 30 seconds. You know, ultimately it's about whether India can be put on a growth trajectory and, you know, not just recover from the pandemic, but, you know, we had a target of a $5 trillion economy. Bottom line, you think this budget is a stepping stone to that or not?
Yeah, absolutely, it's a stepping stone. Let's not only look at the conventional difficulties in the country. Let's look at the futuristic digital revolution which this government is bringing out. They have talked about digital rupee. They have talked about digital education. They have talked about all digital banking systems which is going to come up. The post office are going to get converted into digital payment system. After all, this is talking about future. We have a young generation. 50% of the population is young in this country. And they are looking towards all these new systems to come up in the country. How to blend such systems into the country? Okay. So I think the government has a back forward in front of them. And I'm sure that we are looking at a 5 trillion economy and this is a stepping stone in the right direction.
The pandemic certainly put a spanner as far as India's plans was concerned. Whether it's jobs, as Nirmala Sitharaman said, she accepts there has been a hit and there has been a hit globally.